I'm finishing my toast. I did finish eating it, so I'm just chewing the last of it. Good morning, everyone. I also haven't drunk the coffee yet. How was the toast? Good. It was sourdough with butter. We're working on this today. God. Drinking the coffee. I had to get up early for an allergy shot. I didn't get to have coffee till after. Cause is your tummy more settled today? No. That's why I've waited till now for coffee and only had toast today. And I'm real thrilled that we have like 115 heat index this weekend. I'm noticing your nails aren't painted. I haven't had time. I did get new polish in this week to match my bike. I wanted to get it in before the thing I'm training for, but that's not this weekend. Thank God. Woo! I mean, to be fair, there is a base coat on. I just put a base coat on to like keep them strong right now. Which is why they're long. I have not broke one in a while. Because, they're getting that length where I tend to break them. So, what did I buy? I bought, the Talo Taco. I did a Talo Taco order because I had some points. So I wanted to get the thing with the points. And the color I wanted to match for Rachel, my bike, is one I know doesn't sell well, and I was scared it would go out and then I wouldn't be able to get it. But now in hindsight, I'm like, oh wait, this other color actually slightly matches better, I think. But I don't think anyone's going to notice. And it might dry a little bit different because I haven't put it on yet. So I bought duct tape gray. I bought the magnetic taco, the new one, because I've always wanted to try the magnetic things, and this seems a little bit more all-purpose. Hiccups. Joke's on you, my nails are also unpainted. What else did I get? I got electrostatic because I've always wanted to own that color. And then I got an everything taco. So I got those. I was excited to get those. Have I ever been to a nail salon? I mean, I've been to the spa that Steven's mom works at and had my nails done there. And I had gel on my nails for my sister's wedding. We went to a salon. And that's probably it. Love you, Malcolm Nurses. Love you too. So yeah, I've only had gel nails once, and I didn't love it. So I probably won't ever do it again. What color did I want instead of duct tape? What's the other gray? Foreshadowed? It's slightly warmer. And when I went and held the duct tape gray tube to the bike, I can post this, sorry, I took a photo. Pretty sure I sent it to you, Vagabond. Oh, that's recording, not mod. Yeah, there. I'm pretty sure Foreshadowed is slightly warmer of a gray. I wanted to share the name with the bike. Aw. And I think the bike is a warmer gray now that I have the other one next to it. I think Foreshadowed would have been it, but it's fine. With the top coat on or putting like everything taco or doing something with it, no one's gonna notice. Click button. There, see, it's slightly cool and the bike is slightly warm. It's a little bit off. The bike needs a wash. It's actually worse than it was when I took that photo. Will the next painting be of your bike? I saw someone doing these like Sumi-esque bike paintings, like these one-stroke brush bike black on white paper with a little bit of red on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I like those. There was one in particular, like just the aesthetics of like the bike positioning was just like, oh. We have a gift sub from George GW to Cheapy Skeven. Thank you for the gift sub. That was last night, I believe. Oh, fingernail polishes. Yeah, I had to get a polish that matched my bike because I had red, white, and black to match my road bike, but I did not have a gray to match my gravel. Alright, we're working on endless leaf painting today. I still haven't moved the right file over, but that's fine. I can deal. Gray like gravel. Canyon, the bike company I have my bike, what it is, really likes boring colors. Like gray or like a lot of these browns. Like it's really like, come on guys, let's do a fun color. There's someone I know who has a few gravel bikes and they're all like super bright colored. Like the one he was on this week was hot pink and had green tires, like teal green. It looked really cool. He's like a really serious gravel rider though. Like, Yinmin blue bicycle. Do you know how expensive that would be? Woo dang. The person I know probably best in the cycling community has a lavender purple bike, and the fork, like the front part that holds the front tire, is like dark gray. It's not quite black, and it's just a really pretty bike. Paint your bike instead. Ooh, I did talk to someone else I know makes bespoke bicycles, like custom. Like he welds the frame and everything. Oh yes, lavender, the fun color. Well, when everyone else's bikes are like black and white and gray, there's a handful of blue bikes. I can think of someone who has like a deep magenta bike in the group. Like, the lavender sticks out. It's very pretty. You'd have to strip all the components from the bike, wouldn't you? Correct. And I don't know how to do that. I could probably get them off, but putting them back together correctly is another story. But the person with the lavender bike used to be a bike mechanic. So I've been telling him that once it gets cooler outside that I need him to teach me how to do that because I want to do a deep clean on my bike. Because when you have a gravel bike, you get a lot of sand and like road trail gunk built up in the bike. So it gets really grindy in parts. So like where the pedals are on the crank arms, it's really like, I can hear the sand in it. I also want to learn more about brakes. I want to be able to change my own brakes and get really good at it because everyone hates doing it. So I want to be like the person people can go to. Someone has to be good at that. I think most of the components aren't too difficult. Crank arms are really the hard part. And it's probably complicated on my bike by my crank arm having a power meter in it, so... Bright colors are safer as well. Like, the more you stand out, the easier you are to spot. Yeah. I try to buy bright jerseys, like when I have my outfit. My favorite one is, it looks like the Photoshop color picker. Like where it's just like the whole gradient of the whole rainbow. That's my favorite one. And I think I got it a size too small. Like it fits me across the chest, but like the waist is a little tight. I don't know. I'd like to get a power meter for exercising. I can't justify it just yet. My bike was bought from a friend who gave me an incredible deal on it, and I didn't even know it had the power meter until after I paid him. He was like, yeah, there's also a power meter. Let me set that up with your computer. And I'm like, oh, neat. I don't have a heart rate monitor that connects to it. The watch won't send it to that. They're like super separate. So that sucks. But I can at least look at my heart rate data separately because I always run the watch as a backup to the bike computer, which does the power meter. Maybe at some point I'll get a heart monitor, because that would give me like all the data. But I did a ride on Tuesday and I had titled it like super easy ride or something, but I had like a best 30-second power output for the ride. I'll stop talking about bikes in a minute and I'll move on to painting. I'm just waiting for the caffeine to kick in. So I had like my best 30 seconds for power for how much force I'm pedaling with. And the person I bought the bike from was giving me a hard time, and he's like, easy ride, best 30-second power, sure. And I was like, listen, someone else took off at a sprint. I couldn't just go slow up that hill. I also forgot how long that hill is. I've done it before. But like, you go up and then it like levels out for a little bit, and then you think, oh, here's the turn-in where we're gonna like turn around. But that's not it. It goes up further and then there's the turn-in. And I learned my lesson because, you know, about 2 weeks ago I was on a ride with people and I almost fainted, and I learned that I can't stop moving. If I'm not feeling great on the bike and like I've gone through like a big exertion, I just can't stop, because if I stop, then all the blood goes to my legs and out of my brain. And then I get tunnel vision and feel faint, and it's a bad time for everyone. So once I got to the top of this hill after working incredibly hard, I just slowly pedaled around a parking lot until like my heart rate calmed down and I could like move again. So shark mode. That's what everyone else was saying on the ride because I was explaining it. They were like, are you okay after last week? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. This is what happened. And so they were like, oh, you're a shark. I'm like, I guess so. We all need nicknames then. Just do a handstand when you stop. Lay down in the grass. Put my legs up. Same with runners. Yeah, and like it's something I knew. It's not like I didn't know that. Replenish sodium, it really helps. I did try to up my sodium after. And I have like electrolyte powder, but I don't love it. Alright, painting. So on my little to-do list here, I finished the orange leaves and the cadmium orange. So I pulled the cadmium that I had put here and kind of brought it down into this a little bit and this one, just to kind of make it slightly more harmonious. And like, most of the leaves are done. It's just some of these darker ones that have less detail and they get a lot darker. So those were kind of like grouped into a separate category, but there is like 2 subcategories of these darker leaves, which are the ones that are more burnt umber. Like some of these in here, there's probably too much of a glare on the iPad, but they're kind of some of these more central ones. And then there's like this one that's lighter, which is this one here. So like some of them are lighter and some of them are darker. So I do need to kind of split them up today, working on like one of them first and then the other one. And then we have that category done. Circle Down Squared says, I drink Element. Is it pronounced Element, I think? It's LMNT. I'm outside walking all day and losing many fluids. It's great, but you don't like salty. I wouldn't recommend it. I was looking at that one, but I think, was it... Does that one have fake sugar? Like sucralose or something? I had to look through a bunch of them because anything that's not true cane syrup or cane sugar or the other one makes me nauseous. So that's why I went with Scratch. And Scratch is spelled weird too, I forget. Because they use like cane sugar. And I think the reason I don't like it is because it's salty. Is turbinado okay? Yes. I did, Element does sell like a flavorless kind. And I thought about doing that and then getting basically Kool-Aid powder. And then making my own with it. I think Element's the one that sells that. So like that was a consideration I was doing until I found Scratch. I crave that mineral. So many people do. I was talking to, I think, Vagabond last night about children's drinks like Sunny D and Capri Sun. And I was saying, like, I've never liked those. I just always wanted juice. Like orange juice, grapefruit, lemonade, apple juice. And like, that's just how I've always kind of been. Like, I'd rather have juice. This isn't juice, I don't like this. Speaking of which, I have some grapefruit juice. I should finish that up because it is probably starting to get to the end of its date. Because it was buy one, get one. Sorry, there's a package I'm dealing with. Not mine, someone else's. Okay. Personally, I prefer lemon juice squeezed directly into my mouth, Cephazon says. What's the drink in Japan, Cephazon? It's like a little tiny glass green bottle, and it's lemon. And it's very sour. I love that drink. They tend to put it, I've noticed, and I don't know why, because I can't read enough Japanese, in like the, like there's this like kind of like special zone they put it in the konbinis. Daily, but it's a vitamin C incarnate. That's why it's like kind of in the special, like slightly medical zone of drinks. Oh, it's so good. Vagabond says, you know you can just buy citric acid and add it to whatever you want. Yeah. Did the post office deliver your painting to the recipient yet? I mailed Stone Lantern, the Nara painting, yesterday. It's good in the winter when everyone's sneezing on you. Nara is on its way to its location. And I haven't checked it today, but I gave it to the post office yesterday. But the one that I've been struggling with, the orchid painting I did, that's the one that's, I've called twice this week. I called yesterday and I still don't know what the tracking is on that. I've been assured it's fine. I've been assured they had it. They're just waiting on a new tracking number to be assigned to it. So I called twice this week. I called Tuesday and I called Thursday. Had to leave voicemails for both. And I was like, can I get that new tracking number maybe? Because you said it would be like delivered by now. It sounds like something that would take 2 minutes, right? Why can't they use the old tracking number? It still has the same address on it. That address hasn't changed. It's not going anywhere new. Just put it back in the system. Anyway, I'll be calling again today after stream. Print a new label? Anything? Come on, guys. When I turned the Stone Lantern painting over to the post office yesterday, we had like a slight back and forth about like where it was going or whatever, and they were like, oh, it's a painting. And I'm like, yeah, I do paintings. And they were like, that's really cool. They were like, how long have you been doing that? So I explained a little bit. And I was like, actually, sent something via FedEx instead of the postal service, and even though I've used FedEx for a long time, this is what happened. And they were like, wow, that sucks. Anyway, this'll get where it's going. And I'm like, you guys haven't failed me yet. Thanks, postal service. I love the post office. Oh, that's cadmium. I thought that was brown. Alright, I need some burnt umber on my palette. Knock on wood. I did cry when our old post office burned down. I was very sad about that. Okay. So we have 2 flavors of leaves here that I'm working on today. These dark leaves, and then these like also dark water leaves, these like less detailed. And I'm trying to decide which ones I want to do first. There's less of the light ones. There are... I'm counting. 1. I'm like comparing it to this. 2, 3, 4 of those. So I think I kind of want to do those first because then I know everything left is dark. I think that's my plan. Did they rebuild that post office? I think you and Steven said yes, they did. It took a while because they were like, okay, we had to tear it down and then we had to make a new building plan and like survey how many houses and like subdivisions and apartments and housing that the post office is serving. And then they made a plan. And then a bunch of houses got built. And they said, wait, let's revamp this plan. So they had to revamp the plan. And then it took a while, but it is open from what I know. I have not been. Circle Now Squared says, and you got a few things they recovered from it. That's true. We were there, it burned down on a Friday, because I remember we finished a stream on Friday night and I saw the news and I was like, oh my god. We were just there. But I knew there was at least one thing that had been in the post office because someone had told me. And then eventually we got it, which was wild. Years later. Pokemon Princess says, post office in my area got hit by a car and burnt up. Our current post office got hit by a car and they blocked off the main entrance for like 6 months. It was weird. Okay, I need burnt umber. Burnt umber, titanium whites, probably a little bit of yellow because these leaves have slight yellow tinge to them. But the burnt umber on my palette is dried out, so it's just time for new. Only fools hit the post office. True. My assumption is it was someone parking up front and thought they had the car in park and didn't. There's like little hints of leaves underneath some of these that I've drawn in. But once I get to water shadows, which is the 4th thing on my list, that will also take care of anything I've missed. Speaking of fire, burnt umber. We have raw umber and burnt umber. Raw sienna, burnt sienna. Do I have raw umber? I do. Why do you look darker? I never use this color. You might be the color I want though. Let's try this. Why not perfectly cooked? Alright, so burnt umber is kind of a staple color It's a warm brown. Probably might look black on stream. Let's mix a little bit of white in it. So here's it with some white. There's a little bit of a gray tinge to it. So that's burnt umber. And let's try raw umber. This is a cooler color. And it's definitely a grayer light color when you mix white into it. And I want to see how it looks against this. I should label this. All right, where's a dark spot? Down here? No, you can't tell. I don't like it. It's not doing enough. It's kind of my feel about that. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do when I get to the dark water is I can't just use like the raw umber, burnt umber to make it darker. It is quite dark in some spots and it's not as dark as I want it to be. Like think about like some of the darker spots of the painting compared with the black backdrop. I had put raw umber here and tried it and it was hard to tell. So it's not enough to make this part darker. And you can kind of see like the black I put with the bubbles and how dark that is. Not that the bubbles are done, but when I was blocking them in. So I need to do something with the burnt umber that's here to make it darker. And I'm kind of thinking I might push it towards blue because blue's contrasting with the orange and that will make things darker. So if I mix a blue in, however, the rest of this painting is all these warm earth tones and that is going to cool everything down a lot. And I don't know if I'm gonna like that. So we're gonna have to do some testing once we finish the dark leaves and the needles because that'll be our next step is the dark water. So things I'm going to be thinking about. All right, lighter leaves. We are gonna start with, is this one cut off? Oh, it's above it. We'll start with this one up here. And that one is kind of, like this one's very yellow, but this one's like warmer. So we're just gonna kind of go back and forth with all of these until I'm happy with it. So a lot of this is just going to be doing a little bit of shading, but not a whole lot of detail because these leaves are so few and so covered by ripples and pushed down behind the water and they're not really surface level. And this is this weird awkward corner of the painting. I don't love how that turned out. I think it's because I'm not really seeing the water around it. I think it'll get fixed when I start doing the dark water. Anyway, that one's done. Next one. We have a little bit of a light one here. That one looks better. I'm much happier with that one. I think I need glazing liquid because then it will be transparent and less detailed on top. How's the progress of this looking so far? I'm very happy with it. I posted this photo on Instagram and I talked about how when you're doing a painting, and this happens to me still even this far into me painting, like from 2016 to now, like there's a point where I'm like, God, this sucks. What am I doing? Everything's ruined. It's never going to turn out. And then I do a session like I did on Monday, and afterwards I'm like, okay, here we are. It's coming together. Things are looking better. And we're getting to that stage where it's like, ah, yes, this will be fine. I'm happy with the progress. I'm happy with how it's looking. I'm not in a spiral being like, why am I even painting? Like this weird imposter syndrome feeling sometimes. All right, this is the next light one. Trust the process. Yeah, that was something else I said on Instagram about it. Vagabond, you're painting because you're on a deadline. Chop, chop. I know. I know so well. We have a 15-month resub from Strawberry Hearts, who says, good morning. Good morning to you. I was just talking to a friend of mine that does some art about things. What did she say? It was very funny. I'm trying to think of what she said. And I also, one of my bike friends, his wife is an artist, and I got to meet her on Wednesday. And she's like capital A artist, like the work she's making, phenomenal. I am impressed and I would love to have one. I don't know what she sells them for. I didn't ask what her price was. But she's been doing art a long time, and hearing her talk, I was like, oh, you just kind of feel like a fraud next to people sometimes. Just a little bit. She was very nice. And like I said, I really was impressed by her work. Maybe at some point I'll go see her studio. I don't know. I'd like to see her work in person. It's paintings, but they're not flat. I don't know how to describe it. She was telling me a little bit about her process, about how she builds this like under armature and then like puts scraps of canvas over, and then she can like sand and gesso and like bring things forward and push them back. And she showed it to me, and it's flat photos, right? But like the first photo she showed me, I was like, huh. And she's like, yeah, and she's pointing out the elements about how they stick forward, or like she's like, here, I carved in and made this door an actual door in the canvas. And like the whole thing is like kind of like a boulder almost on the wall. Like I said, I was really impressed by her work. I thought it was amazing. And just hearing her talk about her work and her process was just like humbling. And I showed her this, and I was like, this is in progress. And she's like, yeah, I can tell. And I was like, but she was very nice. She had some good things to say. It was just interesting. This one needs some yellow. Versetti says, when I bake, all my family members are like, this is delicious, and my first thought is to point out that I just followed a recipe and my crumb isn't even good. I am not like this with others. Sucks. Yeah, I do that too. Not just with painting. I'm like, yeah, I wish I would have like cooked this a little bit longer, or I overbaked this, and Chaz is like, no, it's a cookie, it's good. And I was like, okay, but like, I overmixed the cake batter on this, and he's like, it's good. And I was like, okay. You're your own worst critic, I should know. Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to compare yourself. I do it cycling too. Like, my friend who was the bike mechanic, like, he's the one who took off at a sprint up the hill the other day, and I was like, I could sprint after him. And he's just up there and gone, and I can't catch him, and I'm like, I'm not that good. but sometimes you have to look back and just compare yourself to yourself, how you used to be. Because when I look back and I'm like, oh, I'm hitting personal bests, and I'm seeing that, like, even just like the raw data on Strava is like, oh, you hit your best power output, or this was your fastest 20K yet. Then you can kind of look back and see. So like if I look back at old paintings, I'm like, yeah, I've made a lot of progress. Like college me would be like, what do you mean we did this? That looks like a leaf right there. What do you mean we painted that? All right, dark umber. I just kind of did this blob here. It's just a blob. It needs some refinement. Your progress is the only thing worth comparing? Yeah. Exactly. So I just wanted to say, like, it's really common. Everyone does it. And I think it's common in life stuff too, like, oh, all of my friends are doing X, Y, and Z, or own a house already, or whatever life milestone you're attributing that to. I still don't love this leaf. Why not? It needs maybe some lighter blotches. Oh wait, no, we went yellow with that. We need some more yellow in that. Not enough yellow, apparently. Imagine embarking on a multi-year journey and having to trust the process. I know, Vagabond. I know. This leaf is ridiculous. Like, ultra ridiculous. Oh, that helped. Now it looks like a leaf. I thought AC/DC was playing. After last week and that problem. Right, where's my next light colored leaf? Did a little bit here with these. Would you say it's unbelievable? Oh yeah, the YouTube jump scare. Yeah, exactly. I was trying to make plans to do a long ride this weekend for my bike because I'm training. And everyone's like, it's gonna be too hot. And I'm like, I know, but like, training. We can leave the puns out of the stream, they upset me. This one kind of has a little dolphin shape to it. Indoor bike. I need an indoor bike. So I still have my red road bike, and part of me thinks I should just get a trainer and put that on the trainer so I can have something indoors. But then I feel so sad. The red bike doesn't get outside. Yes, I was the child that gave all of my stuffed animals personalities. Okay, next light colored leaf is gonna be this one. There was a post I saw a couple years ago, and it was about this girl who had to like go to the supermarket and buy the ugly pumpkin because she felt bad for the pumpkin. Like, that would totally be me. I'm just thinking about this ugly pumpkin alone in the supermarket, never getting bought. I had multiple stuffed animals as a child, all of them cats, of course. And I had the one that was like the special one that was like always the one I carried around. And then I had 3 of the kitty kittens that had like the marble in their head that did the purring noise, and then I had 1 giant cat. So there was a point in my life where we lived at this lake house for a winter while the house my parents were building got built. And that house was scary because we were out in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, kind of where people would go to summer and not be there in the winter. So it was very few people around. All these empty houses all winter on the lake. And I was terrified of that house. So like I would have Little Kitty, which was like the one that I carried everywhere, closest to me as a child, and then all of the purring kittens, and then the big one on the end, and I would sleep with my arms around all of them together, and then like I would rotate them and be like, okay, now it's this one's turn to be close to me because it didn't get to be close to me last night. And so like I personified them all. But the big one was like the mama, so that one was okay on the outside to like protect us all. So that was me at age 6, if that gives you any indication of what kind of child I was. Where was I painting? Over here. When I was up in Wisconsin for the baby shower last summer, my mom was like, take these with you. So I actually took my stuffed animals back with me, those cats. And I asked Haley if she wouldn't mind pulling apart the kitty kittens for me and taking the latex bladder inside of them out, because they had this latex bladder that was filled with water at one point, and then they tended to like fall apart and then leak out. So their bodies had that. And I was like, would you like just take that out for me so I don't have to deal with that part, and then I'm just gonna like wash them and then restitch them up and then just put them on my shelf? And she's like, no, I'll just do that for you. So she did it for me, which was very sweet of her. That's way too much white. Praise Haley's sewing skills. Do you want me to go get one of them? They sit on my bookshelf now. They take up a third of the bed. No, they live on my bookshelf. Show? Okay, one second. Let me finish this leaf. I don't know if I love how that looks. And unfortunately, I only remember one of their names, and it's not this one. So, do you guys remember these from the 90s? This is the snow leopard one I had. So this was one of them. Has a little tail. It still has the ribbon, which surprises me. I don't like that. This one's rattle gets stuck. I was super curious when Haley took them apart. I was like, I need to know what that looks like inside there because I never saw it. The other ones I think sound better, but this one I think is in the best shape, so I grabbed this one. It looks pristine. It's because Haley washed it. But they had these like latex bladders in their belly, so they felt squishy and had like a weight to them. But that's been removed and just replaced with stuffing because of Haley. When I got this back from her, I just sent her like these giant eyeball emojis because it looks like it's just staring. Its fur had been covering them so much, I forgot its eyes were blue. So yeah, they made noise. And their little paws are weighted, so there's like little sand packets in there, so they can kind of stand up a little bit. Who knew Haley was a taxidermist? I think her dad has experience with that, so she grew up around that sort of thing. Did Victorian child. Exactly. It's just staring. So I wish I remembered all three of my kitty kittens. I don't remember what I named them. And I find that sad. And my mom can't remember either. Maybe I wrote about them in some book as a child. Like when I had to write like some story for kindergarten or something. I don't remember. I wish I did. I only remember Little Kitty's name. Little Kitty was the not kitty kitten that I carried everywhere. Why does it sound like a pickleball match? Maybe it's the compression you guys are hearing, but it never sounded like purring to me. But I mean, at least it didn't sound ridiculous to me. This leaf is just not coming together either. Why? That's better. This tiny little ghost leaf. It doesn't sound bad. It's supposed to sound like purring. So it's something about yay big. It's plastic and it's oval. And like it's a little kind of pill case shaped thing. And there's like a marble inside it on the outside. And inside there's like these spikes to help it like bounce around and hit. Haley showed me it when she took it apart. All right, this is the next one. This one is kind of one of the more important ones for these leaves. This one, that one, and then this one are the last three that I need to do here. Pickleball one with enhanced noisemakers. I should have grabbed one of the other ones that makes more noise, but I didn't, so. Can we have an alert that's just that marble cat? I think people would find that upsetting. They'd be like, no, make it stop. All right, now I think I'm gonna work back into the shadows on this leaf. Let's see. We have this. Slow zoom to the eyes. That one's looking good. That one's looking better. We do need a little bit of a lighter color though. All right, lighter color, good. More shadow. I'm starting to feel like I should have done the water first, so I could have brought some of these shadows in here. I don't know. Okay, next light leaf is the big one over. Nope, we got one right here. One step at a time. And I actually didn't paint this one in the right spot at all. is fine. That's the beauty of acrylic. We can just kind of move it. All right, last one of these groupings. There's a way more yellow in this one than any of the others. Do I have any more cad yellow? Or is it all dried out? All dried out. Can I zoom in for my reference? That's where I'm working. So this leaf, this really obvious one, is this guy right here. So this lighter blob right here is right here. That's what I'm working on. So I'm trying to make this goldenrod color. Hello, leaf stream. Maybe I'll paint, or paint, maybe I'll count them at some point. What a sound, because I was scratching the brush. Scritch, scritch. It's one of the reasons I like using these bristly brushes that are a bit sturdier. Like my soft brushes, like this guy is soft. Like, it kind of does, but it's not like one of these guys where it's really... Do I have a really bristly brush? This one? Like, this is really scritchy because it's boar bristle instead of like soft filament. Ooh, that is way too saturated. No can do. Good vibes, Jet Jet. So see how that leaf fades to the left? The right side is sharp and then the left side is getting lost. That's what I'm trying to accomplish here, to push the leaf back into space. All right, I think it needs another highlight. That is not light enough. That's the same color. Is this the final quadrant? Let me finish this leaf and then I'll go back to my to-do list. Because that is the last leaf of the grouping of them in the category. Okay. I don't love that yet. That's fine. So my to-do list was 6 things, right? The first one, when I made it, was orange leaves in the cadmium orange, which is what we finished last stream. And then my next thing on the list was the pine needles. And I decided to switch it with the third thing, which is my little arrow right here. And that's the dark leaves. So I'm finishing all of these dark leaves. And they're split up into 2 separate categories where we have these ones that are lighter and then these ones that are darker that we can't quite see yet. So those ones are next. And then I have to do the needles. And then we have to do water shadows because the water is not dark enough. It's just kind of all burnt umber. So that needs some shadows. It's very flat. And that will help push some of these leaves back as I start to bring that darker watercolor on top of some of them. Like, do we see this guy here? Like, this guy is like very faint, but like it's darker on this side. So adding more water shadows will bring some of that detail forward, but then I can push more of that leaf back visually. I'm painting in my shadow. Sort of, like, for me it's not because I have this bright light coming this way, but it's probably ending up that way for the camera. But there's not really space to get a light here, because this is wall. Anyway, I have dark leaves to do. And maybe we'll get to the needles today, we'll see. But the water highlights is the starred thing on my list, that's second last. That's going to be the last big thing to do. That and the orange leaves were the big things. Punch a hole in the wall. There's already a hole in the ceiling. Yep. We have 14-month resub from Fire Goddess. Anniversary 14. Hello. Welcome in this morning. Alright, these ones have a little bit of burnt sienna to them, where like this one's very yellow, and then the ones I've just been doing were kind of less saturated, warm. These ones are all warmer, so I'm going to be using burnt sienna for that. What else do I want out? That's probably good. It is a little warm. A little too warm. Because burnt sienna is not this. This has umber in it. Burnt sienna alone is very orange. It is very like a rusty dark orange. That feels like a good base. Now, everything left is this same palette, so I can just kind of paint it. Where do I want to start is the question. Down here. Mono Starstorm. That is very good. Those leaves do be creaking, and resubbed at 27 months. Thank you. And it started a hype train. A morning hype train. More hidden leaves? These are all kind of hidden. That's why I saved them for last. It was easier to do. We have 300 bits from Sakura Celica with the dance emote. Thank you. Contributing to the train. Alright, moving into these leaves. There's a lot of them. There's so many of them. Okay, where am I working? Here, here. This one is way up here. I think I just need to fill them in because they're underpainting looking right now where you can kind of see the canvas through. And then I just need to add shadow. And we have 100 bits from Fire Goddess. Thank you. Worth all the hard work? Thank you. I do have fun painting. I mean, I should hope so, right? But, like, also, it is fun. Just trying to figure out where this leaf sits. Kind of on top of that one. You see how these ones got pushed back real far by just adding that in? Now they look like they're further back in space. Magic. Just a little magic here and there. As a treat. An anonymous gifter gifted a sub to Tech Absol. Thank you. Thank you for sending a gift sub. I also want you all to know that I'm currently losing sumo spectacularly for sumo draft. Just absolutely fantasy sumo losing. We have a 28-month resub from Snowy Satoru. Good morning, thank you. This is the wrong color. That's closer. I can live with that. Current scores are 65, 61, 55, and 29. Guess which one I am. Chaz, you're winning, right? 65? Yes. Someone picked a Yokozuna and said Yokozuna left the tournament early for some reason. I forgot. I think he broke a toe. Anyway, if you pick a Yokozuna, which is the top division, like the top 2 guys, we have 2 of them right now, and you pick them for Fantasy Sumo and they go out on injury or drop for any reason, you don't get a new one because you did pick the top guy. It's kind of a risk you take. Yeah, well, that was me, and that's why my score is 29. I was like, see, he's gonna stay in because there's a new Yokozuna, and he's gonna show them what it's like to be like, no, I'm the top guy. And then he went out on injury. So my theory might have been sound, but it didn't work. It's not the only reason your other 2 guys are 310. Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong, Chaz. When is Chaz ever wrong? It's the beauty of it. Alright, now I think I'm going to go back to the dark color and finish pushing these back. When it comes to phone cases. Hmm. There's a few little ones in here, but most of this bottom part is done. So I'm just looking where I have essentially raw canvas and trying to fill those in. Maybe shouldn't get my hand in the wet paints. Welcome, First Transit. Okay, these are all done. I don't feel like there's any more raw canvas in here, which leaves this guy. My paints are starting to dry out on me, and it's becoming slightly frustrating, but that's fine. We'll just mix more once they're totally gone. Where are we? Here? Yeah. Time to make spaghetti. Whenever we make spaghetti, we make way too much. I really only want it one time. I don't really want it 2 days in a row. But when we make it, we end up with enough for 2 days in a row. For a second, this sounded a little bit Disco Elysium Sea Power music. Like Fire Escape by the Sea. How's that leaf looking? Doesn't it though? Alright, here down is done. And some of these darker leaves, the ones that I've been working on pushing back, I think will push back more as I bring in even the darker color. Okay. I'm kind of sad I'm out of toast, but I suppose when I'm done painting I can have some overnight oats, which I have right now at home. Pretzel sticks for a snack. I shouldn't be eating because I have cadmium out. Once I have things cleaned up and washed hands, I can have a snack. Oh wait, that's not the color I'm using? No! That is too orange. We're using this color. Hmm. I'm kind of working here in this weird long stretch. You mentioned making too much spaghetti. Looks like the batteries in my scales corroded and broke it. Now I have to guess how much. That was the conversation last time we made spaghetti, is how much of the pasta do we have to do, because we're gonna do a jar of like Rayo sauce, but we never know what that correlates to for noodles. Noodle sauce ratio, something that needs to be studied. I know, it's so difficult. Allergy spot is starting to get itchy. Ugh, dang it. Thought I was in the clear this week. Last week went really good. Okay, south of this. Okay. We have this guy up here. There's a faint something here. 1, 2, and then we have this. That one's tricky because the needles sit right there. So I'm just kind of hoping once I do the needles, it won't matter. Hoping. This isn't doing what I want it to. Let that dry and then we'll add some brown. The problem is some of this just is still wet, and I'm not able to quite fill in like I want to. Because it's just blending into what's there already. I think that is all. Now I just have to do the edges. I have all of these leaves now to do. Changed my mind, I wanted to add some of this up here. No empty spots allowed. No. We need to have all leaves filled in everywhere. Am I still painting Monday? Currently, yes. I think I will definitely need to paint Monday. Alright, there's the bottom part done. Then we'll move to the next side. This music makes me want to paint faster, like there's a looming deadline or something, maybe. Which there kind of is, but... it's putting me on edge. That side's done. It's only the sides, no stress. Making up the sides as you go. I am. It does make it a lot easier. Last side. Painting leaves to save the world. It feels like it. That's the vibe of the music. I'll be putting a wash or glaze something over the water areas. I'll probably start by glazing the dark color on, just to make it feel a little darker first, and then see how it goes from there. Because I don't want, like, I'm thinking about pushing it blue in the darker areas because that's going to be the contrast color, which is going to make it feel darker, but I don't know if I want to make the painting cool yet, or if I want to keep it this very warm earth tone piece. I haven't decided. We will be doing tests, but I still have the needles to do once I finish this side. It's already cool. I do like warmer colors though. Yeah, that's the vibe of the piece. I just don't know exactly what I want to do with that yet. We will have to test. That one feels weird. How do I fix this? We probably just push it back further. Yeah. Okay, I'm leaving it upside down for a second. I can cross something off the list. It's so exciting. The blood will rush to its head and it'll faint. see, we're sitting at 2:30. Okay. Well, 1:30, but 2 hours, 30 minutes. I do need to call my stepmom. She was going to tell me about something. Because last time we talked, after we got off the phone, she texted me and said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you about..." And I was like, "Oh my god, do you need me to call you back?" And she's like, "No, I'll tell you next time." Oh, alright, let's cross something off the list. Dark leaves. Yay! Hate cliffhangers. They're fighting with the state. It's a very funny story. I can't tell it, but I've been very amused. And I don't have water. I want to flip this right side up and take a look at it. I think they won against the state with the problem they were dealing with. Which is the funny part of what happened, but I can't tell that story, unfortunately. Okay. My arms are getting itchy too, so my desire to sit here and work while my arms are itchy is quite low. Well, that was the last of the chalk I had sitting there. Okay. Next I have to do needles, which I've kind of already blocked in, but they need like actual detail. I think what I'm going to do to finish up today is not go into the needles, but we're going to do some water shadow testing to see how I feel about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting some burnt umber down, and then we're going to test some colors against it. Okay, burnt umber. That looks really dark there compared to this. It's a big chunk of dried paint that got on my palette knife. I thought burnt umber would be more yellow. It's the warmer brown. Well, it's not actually. Burnt sienna is the warmer brown between the browns I'm having on the painting. It's the darkest one. All right, so that's drying. What we need to do is I need to figure out if I want to put blue on this. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a small piece of plastic wrap, and we're going to test that also. So I have some ultramarine blue. We're gonna try Dogzine purple. Because it is a dark purple. It is incredibly dark. And I don't have Mars out, but we're gonna try Mars. I didn't really want to go into black paint, but I just might. Because it'll make this moody. And it's a moody piece. Oh yeah, this one's weird. I need to use up this Mars anyway. It's bad. Okay, what brush do I want to use? This one seems good. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I need more burnt umber. We're going to try mixing the burnt umber with my 3 test colors here. And then we're also going to try the 3 test colors alone on top of Burnt Umber. And we're going to see how I feel about all of them. Oh, we also do glaze. We're going to glaze them on too. Okay, so let's start with blue, because I have pure blue right here. We're just going to do that. We're also going to do the glaze of it. That does not show up as well. And then we're going to mix it. That might be the way to go. It keeps it warm enough and it darkens it. Okay, so that's the umber. Sorry, the ultramarine. Pure pigment glaze with umber. The handwriting is terrible right there. All right, so now we're gonna do Dogzine. And that is Dogzine Violet pure paint on top of it. And then we're gonna do a glaze of it. Because that is a warmer color than the ultramarine. And then we're gonna do Mars. They're subtle. Like, if you're not sitting right next to it, it is very subtle. Dogzine. I think it's supposed to be dog. It is Dioxazine. I've heard it pronounced Dogzine. I don't know if that's actually how it's pronounced. It is not me guessing. I did hear someone else say it that way, and so that's how I say it now. Okay. And let's label these two. I don't hate Mars Black alone. The purple is the warmest of them all because it has those warm pink tones deep in it. But the blue feels best. I just don't know if I will like it on the painting. So what I'm going to do is do the same swatch but on this plastic wrap. See how bright that blue is? So what I did is I have ultramarine blue on the top, a wash of it with glaze in the middle, and then mixed with the burnt umber on the bottom. So it's more of a navy color. And the glaze isn't fully dried. I'm kind of thinking the ultramarine blue. Smart way to test. I've done this before. I don't always show it off. It's like one of those things you keep in your back pocket and then don't use all the time. And you're like, oh wait, I can do this. Oh no, stay flat. Don't flip over on me. So here's the violet mixed. The violet really keeps it warm, but the ultramarine really brings a contrast and makes it deeper, I think. I think black is too much though. Super do low risk experimenting. Well, my next thing is to put paint on the canvas and then scrub it up if it's too wrong. Too wrong. I think Mars just doesn't add enough depth. Like the purple's fine, but I think the ultramarine adds the depth. It really does kill the warm painting, but everything else is so warm that this can kind of just sit on its own, I think. You can see the glaze slowly starting to dry. The lighter blue. And I can glaze some of the ultramarine umber mix onto the canvas, because this is just ultramarine blue glaze, not mixed with the umber. And like, I can always bring in some of the violet if I really want to in some areas, like I brought in the cadmium orange. And if it's truly not dark enough then I could bring in Mars black, or even carbon, which is darker. But I'm kind of digging the ultramarine. Do you want to stand out or blendy? I tend to make the safe choice in painting. So like when I did that still life, the one that was pink, like the hot pink one, that was me making a not safe choice and then having to work through that and force myself through that. So picking the blue, I think, is the not safe choice. So let's do a little test on the actual canvas. So I'm making up a mix of the ultramarine burnt umber. That's that. And if I wash that out with a glaze, you can see it's just kind of a dark gray. And then if we go back to the canvas and make the really bold choice to add a little bit of this here. You know what? I'm just gonna paint this little section. I don't like this brush though. We're switching brushes. Because I can let this sit and dry and then look at it on Monday and see how I feel about it. And I can just always repaint over it with burnt umber. Can we see that, how dark that got there? That's my swatch for next week. Huh. Oh, nope, stay right side up. Thank you. This area has a lot of that darkness to it, so that's why I'm kind of working here. Because all of the highlights of the water really hit over on the top right of the photo. That helps a lot. I'll need to step back from it. Am I testing all the colors? No, this is the choice I've made, so I was testing that choice by itself. And I like it. Okay. And now I'm kind of wanting to switch the needle on the list with the water shadow and do the water shadow first. And I think I'll do that. I thought I was still undecided. I was. As I was putting that blue on to test it, I was like, I don't know. And then I started to put that on and it looks fine. Not sure I'll push it further yet. We will see. So let's see. Do we see the dark down there? Like here? And I'm leaving some space like here for a leaf. And like see this kind of like hidden leaf here right above my thumbnail? So we're just kind of pushing some of this back further. Like some of this is going to stay burnt umber, but it's going to kind of get some darker shadows into it. So we get that contrast and push it backwards in space. It's there, it's wet and ready to be used. Well, I used all of it. I only had a little test. Tiny test. I do have a little extra of the Mars black out here though, that I'm going to lose otherwise, so I need my palette knife. Palette knife. Where did you go? There you are. Gives it more depth. Yeah. It really needed it. It was looking very flat. Alright, so let's make a note for myself for Monday. We're going to switch these two for Monday. We're going to do the water shadows first, and then the needles. And then we'll move on to the water highlights. And the bubbles, of course. Which we can still kind of see. I knew they would get covered like that. Allergy shot itchy. Time to go get more Benadryl cream. So, let's do this first, and we'll talk about the things that are coming up. It's currently Friday. Tonight Steven is playing a game. I don't know if we've announced it, what it is. But tune in. I'm excited for it. I will be gone, but I'm excited for all of you. Oh, he did say it? Mario Kart with viewers. Okay, so you're playing Mario Kart World with viewers. So if you want to play against Steven tonight, definitely tune in and join in. I'm excited to see you all win. If I wasn't busy, I would be doing predictions. I feel like the water shadows are what going to make it really work, Molecule says. I agree. It needed that desperately. So once I start to push that back in other areas, and then bring the water contrast with the highlight in, it's going to help it a lot. Steven cannot win. Yeah, don't let him win. Alright, what else is going up? I don't know what's happening this weekend. I don't know if there's a Steven and Friends. I don't know what it is. I know we recorded more Pico Park, but I don't know if that's what's coming out. So there will be more Pico Park in the future. And Monday morning, I'm going to continue with this. Let me look at my calendar. I'm definitely going to paint Monday morning. I'm just wondering how much time I have left. Ooh. Yeah, we're painting Monday morning. We will paint for maybe a while on Monday. Sunday's Bonanza. That's right. Thank you. Steven's going to be playing Donkey Kong Bonanza on Sunday. So also tune into that. We can raid Sab or Tom. I don't feel like I ever get to raid Tom on a morning stream. Where is Twitch on my phone? There it is. What should our raid message to Tom be? Kitty kitty kittens. Are my hands clean? I thought about going to get another one. No, I got way too much paint on my hands to pick one up. Go tell Tom kitty kitty kittens and Wednesday's Metroid finale probably. I was hearing that it was almost done. So hope to see you all tonight, or Steven hopes to see you tonight, and I'll see you Monday for sure. Have a good afternoon. Go reload this. I'm leaning forward into paint. Oh, I thought he was talking about the raid. I was like, two fools. There we go. I was painting, Tom. Nail time. No, I'm gonna go talk to Rhonda and maybe take a nap. I was up at 4 AM for no reason. Smoke alarms haven't gone off since we changed the batteries. Hoping it stays that way. Alright, I hope everyone has a good Friday, and I will see you later. Oh wait, I normally do this.